Welcome viewers of the Awakening Empire. I give you chapter 2 of One Hell of a Assassin/Hero. Izuku looked around the area he was in, not recognizing it at all. Izuku. What even is this place? MMN. Izuku. Holy shit, holy shit. I'm in hell. But why? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't sin. So why am I here? That's when a hand was placed on his shoulder, causing him to jump slightly at the feeling. Then he heard a voice that sounded like it was coming from a radio. Oh my dear boy, you are correct. You have not sinned, not one bit in your entire life. The real reason why you are here is because of me. Izuku quickly jumped back a bit from the demon. Izuku. Why you're a demon? Yes I am. Name's Alistair, the radio demon. Izuku just stood there with a surprised look on his face. Alistair. What's the matter, young man? Never seen a demon before. Well, in that case, you might want to look at yourself. Izuku looked down at his hands, noticing they were red and had claw-like fingers. He then noticed a thin red tail, with a spear-like tip on the end. He then went over to one of the windows of a building and saw that his body had a similar look to that of an imp demon. Izuku. I'm a demon. Alistair nodded his head and Izuku stood in front of the window, gazing at his new appearance, before turning around to the radio demon. Izuku. Why? Alistair tilts his head, still keeping his smile. Izuku. Why bring me down hell? I haven't sinned, I haven't done a single bad thing. So why bring me here? Alistair. Chuckles, my dear boy. I brought you here because I know you hunger for revenge. You want to make the ones who took your life suffer. You want to ruin their chances of becoming heroes. Is that correct? Izuku stood there for a moment before nodding his head. At the moment, that was what he wanted, more than anything else, aside from getting back to his mother. Alistair. I figured you would have been taken up to heaven, where you would never get the chance for revenge, so I brought you here, so that you could do whatever it takes to get back to the living world. So, you're welcome. Alistair then turned around and walked away, but then he stopped. Alistair. Oh. And before I forget. The radio demon then walked over, stretching out his hand which had a small red flame in his palm. He then gestured for Izuku to grab it, and when the boy did, he felt a surge of energy going through him. Izuku. Whoa. What did you do? Alistair chuckled a bit before placing his hand on Izuku's left shoulder. Alistair. I simply gave you access to some of my powers. I can understand revenge may not come easy, but with my powers, that makes things a lot simpler. Izuku was a bit shocked by this, but by realizing what this meant, a smile soon grew on his face. Izuku. Thank you. Thank you. Alistair. Always glad to help someone with a lust for vengeance. Alistair smiled a bit before turning around to walk away, but that's when Izuku called to him. Izuku. Wait. How am I supposed to get back to the living world? Alistair glances over his shoulder and smiles. Alistair. That, my dear boy, is up for you to figure out. But do not worry. I'm sure something will come along eventually. Well, farewell for now. Alistair then walked off down the street, humming a tune that got more and more distant, until Izuku was left alone. The next hour would be spent with Izuku trying to look for a job, since he had no money, but unfortunately for him, nothing really turned up. Izuku. What am I going to do? I've got no money, I can't find a job, and I have no way to get back home. Izuku then walked down one street before looking up, and that's when he spotted a billboard on top of a building. Izuku. Well, that's a rather vulgar billboard. Who am I kidding? This is hell. Of course it would be vulgar. Izuku then noticed a large purple arrow pointing to the right, so he decided to follow it, and sure enough, when he turned the corner, he saw a large building with the words I.M.P on it, and a wooden sign below it, saying that it was still hiring. Izuku. Guess this could be a good place to start. Izuku then walked into the building, and went over to the desk, where he saw a female hellhound sitting on a chair playing on her phone with an FU type vibe. Izuku walked up to the desk, and cleared his throat, making the hellhound look up from her phone and at Izuku. Uninterested. Hello, welcome to I.M.P, who do you want us to kill? Izuku. Actually I was wondering if I could get a job here. Your sign said you all were still hiring. The hellhound looked back down at her phone before pointing her thumb over to a door labeled Blitz's office. Izuku. Oh. Thank you. Izuku then went over to the door, unaware that the hellhound had looked away from her phone, and stared at Izuku, before a small smile appeared on her face. Ignore Blitz. He's kinda cute. Okay, where the fuck did that come from?